Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to do the Arsenal player ratings versus Villarreal, and we're going to look at how the Gunners got on individually in the Europa League semi-final first leg against Unai Emery's side at Estadio de la Ceramica. So the first person on the list is Leno. At 2-0, he pulled out a sublime save from Gerard Moreno that may well go down as an intervention that kept Arsenal in the tie. He could do nothing about either goal and was solid after his error last week, and hopefully gained some confidence from this match where he made the important save from Gerard Moreno that pretty much kept Arsenal in the tie in my opinion, and it was a huge save, and for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up we got Callum Chambers, and he puts in a consistent delivery when getting forward, but he struggled to find accuracy. A few passes went astray, but not a poor performance by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do want to see a lot more from Callum Chambers. I think he is making the overlapping runs, but he's not getting the ball enough to put those decent crosses into the nets. However, he gets a 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Rob Holding, and the 25-year-old captained the side tonight and didn't have an awful game with some good moments on the ball and a few decent blocks. However, allowing such slack marking for the corner that led to Villarreal's second as the leader at the back is disappointing. And if they didn't concede that goal, if he was the captain of the side, he has to show more determination, more passion, and tell these players that he's a leader. He might be young, but he's the leader, and you have to listen to what he's stating. He showed that anger on the pitch where he didn't show it to the other players, and for his performance he deserves a 5. Next up, we got Pablo Mari, and he was called upon to be the steady heady at the back for Arsenal on a night where they needed composure. However, he failed to answer that goal. At fault for the second goal and totally exposed by Juan Foyth's underlapping runs for most of the night. And I thought it was probably his worst performance in an Arsenal shirt. I thought Pablo Mari being slotted in that left centre back position is a must. But I don't know, something just went to his mindset. I think the Spain stadium, maybe Villarreal he supported as a fan, that's why he was poor. But for his performance he deserves a 4. Next up we got Granit Xhaka, and hideously exposed for the first goal and simply could not deal with the threat of Chukwueze down the left hand side. It is harsh to blame him too much as this is not his position, and after the exchange with Richarlison last week he should have not played left back again. And this only begs the question, is Kieran Tierney back into the squad? He featured in Arsenal training. Mikel said he's in contention for the squad. He hasn't appeared. Maybe was that some form of a bluff to Unai Emery? But we need a new left back for Granit Xhaka. He deserves a 5. Next up, we got Thomas Partey, and how many times is the Ghanaian going to shoot from distance without success? Decent enough on the ball under Villarreal's press though, and coped well as basically a one-man midfield after Dani Ceballos' red card. And we can clearly see with this red card, I think that we should change the formation to suit Thomas Partey, make him the defensive midfielder with 2 attacking midfielders ahead of him, and for his performance we deserve a 6. Next up we got Dani Ceballos. Of course, he is to blame for getting himself sent off after committing not 1 but 2 late challenges while on a yellow. But why was he allowed to stay on? Should have been hooked at half time after failing dramatically following a decent start. And I thought this guy was going to show some character and some passion, because he claimed just before the game that he thinks his gameplay suits to a Villarreal, to a La Liga opponent. But if he's going back to La Liga, he's going to struggle with teams such as Villarreal, because he was awful today, and for his performance he deserves a 4. Next up, we got Bukayo Saka, and he kept driving directly towards the Villarreal defence despite his side going down to 10. Some clever work to win the penalty that had just about kept Arsenal in this tie. And if it wasn't for Bukayo Saka, the way he ran into the box, he's the only player that the Villarreal players were scared of. And for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7. Next up we got Martin Odegaard, and he struggled to influence the game too much before coming off early in the second half. Anonymous game from the Norwegian on a night where Arsenal struggled to hold possession. And he was awful today. Let's be honest, Martin Odegaard was awful. I think just because he came back from injury, he might have looked a bit shaky, as we saw in the first game when he came on an Arsenal shirt. That's how poor he was today. But for his performance, he deserves a 5. Next up, we got Emil Smith-Rowe, and he worked himself to the bone in a false 9 starting position that did him no favours. Lots of moments of good close control to keep the ball, but had no one to pass to and getting in good areas. And I think it's very harsh to keep shifting this guy to striker, to left wing, to right wing, play him in the number 10 role. After that Odegaard performance today, I think it's fair to say to put him there, but for his performance he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Nicolas Pepe, and as Arsenal's most senior attacker on this huge night, the onus was on Nicolas Pepe to deliver. He more than obliged. An excellent display from the Ivorian, who gave Quan Foyth a tough ride when he was able to get forward. The composure for the penalty showed may well go down as one of the most important moments in Mikel Arteta's managerial history. And he is showing that he should be starting every single game, and it's harsh to not play him every single game. Make that left winger position his. Martinelli up front, there's a lot of questions to be asked, but Nicolas Pepe was decent today. As I said, he's a senior attacker and he lived up to the hype and the potential today, and for his performance he deserves an 8. And in terms of the substitutes, we first got Gabriel Martinelli, and Arsenal looked so much better once the Brazilian came on the pitch and played as a proper number 9. The question had to be why it didn't take so long to introduce him. And I think Arteta done a huge mistake not playing Martinelli up front, but it's fair to say he deserves a 6 for his performance. And in terms of the substitutes, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mohamed Elneny and Willian came on too late to influence the game, so they will not receive a rating from me. Overall, Mikel Arteta got his tactics wrong. Arsenal should be pressing a pressing side in my opinion. They held back, they gave Villarreal too much possession of the ball. I can remember when the goalkeeper had literally 1-2 minutes on the ball and everyone's just sitting back waiting for him to make a pass. So Mikel Arteta got his tactics completely wrong in my opinion. We have to wait for the second leg. Hopefully the Gunners can do much better in the second leg and have any chance to move into the final. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video and peace.